Hello, welcome to this video about my Master Duel theme Chronicle experience so far. I'm playing Rikka Traptrix, which is a really cool deck. So I'm going to show you some actual test hands with my real cards later, but here I'm just showing you the win streak that I had, which was 15 wins versus 5 losses, which is pretty good. And here is the deck. So I'm just going to click through so you can see it's a 44 card deck. Force 3 Ash, 3 Maxx C, 2 Called By, 3 Imperm, but the rest are all contributory to the 2 engines. Of course, you can find the ratios that work for you. This is just something I cobbled together based on my knowledge of the 2 decks. The extra deck is also very flexible, but I would say the main things you need are 2 Strenna and 2 Rikka Teardrop. So thank you for making it this far. You'll have already seen my Theme Chronicle deck, which is a 44 card deck that I just showed you. So I just want to sort of briefly talk about how the Rikka-trix deck works and how to, think about it as an overall principle. So just for context, I've played Rikka Strenna by itself. Obviously, there's no Sunvine stuff in the Theme Chronicle because there's no Sunvine sewing available, which essentially kind of kills that deck because you need it to summon the Sunvine twin. And I've also played Traptrix as an individual deck as well. So I really enjoy both of these, and I think put together there's actually a fair bit of synergy, and I think it's the perfect one to play for the Theme Chronicle deck. It's really fun, and I think it can put up quite a lot of interruptions if you get the combos right. So you'll see that I've divided things into kind of 2 halves with an overarching section. So here is the Rikka section. So you've got the monsters, some of these aren't the exact ratios, but I've just got the cards here so I can show you test hands and sort of combos in a bit, and then these are the sort of the Traptrix bits from the deck profile I showed you on Master Duel, so the traps and the field spell. Alright, and you can see here that I've got the extra deck monsters at the top. So the Rikka, sort of more Rikka based ones are here. Just some of them. I haven't put the full lot in because I don't own some of those cards. And then the rank 4s that you're going to mostly be making with the Traptrix stuff over here. And then the thing that links both parts of these deck really is the Rikka Queen Strenna. Because if you read her closely, you can make her using 2 level 4 monsters. So you don't even have to use Rikka stuff. So you could say use 2 Mamelios, and that actually came up in Master Duel where I drew, I think, the field spell Traptrix Garden, so I could normal summon Mamelio, do another one, and then overlay those into the Strenna. And then if you have another Rikka thing in your hand, you can go ahead and tribute. So with a single Mudan in your hand, so I run this at 3 in Master Duel, you can basically special summon this from your hand by tributing 1 plant monster. So you've tributed the Strenna you just made, summon her, you get to add your Concon, and you also get to summon out probably Teardrop the Rikka Queen off the Strenna tribute. So that is where the synergy really comes out from the deck. And another way of getting another level 4 onto the field as well is the Holutia. So if you set that, you can activate it at the same turn by discarding another normal trap in your hand. So that would be the Graver Diggers, Floodgate Trap Hole, or Evenly Matched, which I've not got out yet. So yeah, that's how you would link the 2 sort of engines of the deck together. So off screen, I've actually got Master Duel up, the exact deck profile I just showed you, and we'll try doing some test hands so you know that this isn't me just making up stuff, and we'll see if we brick and we'll see what we can make. So I'll do a 5 card draw. Okay, interesting. So right, now I've got those out of my binder. We actually drew a slightly awkward hand. We actually drew 2 evenly matched, a Maxx C, which obviously I don't have because it's not legal in TCG, but let's just remember it's there. Got a Mamelio, another Maxx C, so that's a really weird hand. So actually with this, it's not awful, it could be better. So let's say we're going fast. Normal summon the Mamelio and pray it doesn't get ashed, right? Normal summon add one whole normal trap. So you add the Holly Tier to our hand. And then you can set the Holly Tier and then discard an evenly matched to activate it at the same turn and spec to the field in defense. I guess it's kind of depends where you want to go here. If you go the Strenna, it doesn't really do much because you don't have a way to tribute it off. So what I would probably do, if you want to be aggressive, you could probably do overlay like this into Time Thief Redoer, which is cool because it's got a trap underneath it. Classic Time Thief, you can place one face-up card your opponent controls on top of the deck, which is kind of cool. And if you banish a monster as well, you can banish that, banish the card until the end phase. And then you can also pinch one of your opponent's cards from the top of the deck on every standby phase, so you could potentially get a spell underneath it. And if you detach a spell, then you can draw a card. So you go Time Thief Redoer, which is not bad, and you'd still have an Evenly and 2 Maxx Cs in hand. So I don't think it's the end of the world. And you can activate this from hand if they do somehow. If you do banish your Time Thief, for example, you'll have a clear field, so I don't think it's bad. And you've got a Maxx C for more card draw, so not awful. Alternatively, I guess you could go for Baromet, which is just 2k defense or put in defense mode. And then you can detach one material, so you can detach, I would say, probably the Holly Tier, and then target one normal trap in the graveyard, so evenly matched. And then you can draw, place it back into the deck, bottom of the deck, and then draw one card. So I guess it would just give you a +1, but I don't think it's really giving you much interrupt. Our next card is actually a Rikka Petal, but with really normal summons, so that's only good for next turn. So personally, if I got this kind of slightly crappy hand, I would just go this. And it's actually not bad because you've got one evenly matched in hand, you've got 2 Maxx C. If you banish it as well as bounce something to the top of their deck, your board is clear and you can just evenly match them from hand if you want. And you've got the Maxx C, of course. So yeah, not bad actually. So you can do some quite fun stuff with this deck. Okay, let's try another test hand and see what we can do. Hopefully I can try and show you kind of what full combo looks like. So okay, so this hand we've got evenly matched again, just glued to our hand. Maxx C again, glued to our hand. We've got a Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. We've got Snowdrop, it's okay, and a Rikka Glamour. Alright, let's see what we can make. And we've got Maxx C. So this one, unfortunately, I think what we'd have to do is go Rikka Glamour. Thing is, you can't tribute a plant monster because we don't have anything, so you can't do the thing where you add 2 level 4s. So you just add 1 Rikka monster from your deck to your hand. I think you just have to pray this again doesn't get ashed. So what we would do is we'd add Rikka Petal. That goes to the graveyard. And then this is where you have your combo starter. So Petal, you normal summon, and then you can add any Rikka card from your deck to your hand. Any Rikka monster, sorry, from your deck to your hand. So the priority here really is to get Mudan. Yeah, I would say Mudan probably. Because the thing is with Rikka, you kind of want to get to Princess too, because she's a really great kind of monster, Omni, Negate and Destroy. And she can activate in your graveyard or your hand, as long as you control a face-up Rikka. But I think priority here is to get the field spell, because I think the field spell is the thing that, you know, wins so many matches. So you've added the Mudan. Now we're going to use Snowdrop the Rikka Fairies effect to tribute a face-up plant monster and special summon herself and another plant in your hand to the field. So you tribute that, and then you get 2 here. Now there's a couple of things here. So Mudan, when it's special summoned by the effect of plant monster, she lets you add well, essentially you're going to add the field spell most of the time. So it can be any Rikka spell trap. So we'll add the Concon. So if you haven't activated Glamour already and you want it, always still go for Concon first, because Concon will let you search another set another spell or trap. So add Concon to hand. And we've still got a Maxx C, remember. We've still got Evenly, we've still got the Trap Hole Nightmare. So activate the Concon, and once per turn while you control a face-up Rikka monster, what we can do is we can add, a Rikka spell trap. So we already used the Glamour here, so there's no point, so let's set Rikka Sheet. So this is a one-of, and it's great because you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls, and you can also tribute 1 plant monster. Now when you've got Rikka Concon on the field, you can pick theirs to tribute instead. So it's really helpful to get rid of towers and really awkward stuff. Yeah. And then you can also take control of that monster as well. So we'll set that to the field. And then at this point you want to activate Snowdrop's effect to target herself to make everything level 8, overlay. And because Teardrop Princess is 2/8 attack and defense, if you're going first, just put her in defense mode. Probably in the 5th zone, because I've heard that's the safest over here. So she can quick effect tribute any one monster. So here you've got kind of like how many, and then we need to set the Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. Probably just keep the evenly hand, like why not? So how many interrupts do we have? So remember, we've still got the Maxx C in hand, so that could potentially draw us more cards. Gone evenly in case everything really goes badly. We've got the Rikka Queen to quick effect tribute one of their monsters. And then we've also got Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare. So this is really cool. So when a monster your opponent controls that was special summon this turn, activates effect, negate and destroy. So it doesn't target, which is fab. That's really helpful. And then of course we've got Rikka Sheet, which in combination with the Con will tribute one of their monsters. And also you can take control. So if they somehow have 2 things on the board, you can tribute one off using the effect of Con and Sheet together, and then take control of one of their things. So we've got like 3 or 4 interrupts potentially. So this isn't a bad board at all. There are better, but that's not bad for a hand which initially did not look great. Okay, so let's reset and we shall do another one. So yeah, I really am having fun with Theme Chronicle with the stack. I think it just helps the fact that I played both decks previously, but yeah, I think like once I show you a few more combos, you'll see like the main backbone of the Rikka stuff is pretty repetitive. Yeah, I think it's certainly simpler than the Sun Avalon variant, personally. Okay, so it's just giving us really weird hands. We drew all 3 Mamelio for some reason. So this is our hand. Okay, it's not awful. It's not awful. So I think what we do is we'd probably normal summon the Mamelio, try and activate it to add 1 whole normal trap. Now, at this point, because you can see you've got no other normal traps, you can't activate the Holy Tear this turn because you've got nothing to discard for it. But it is nice to have a trap on the field that you can summon as a body. It's 2/4 defense and it's quite chunky, so it can stop your life points getting hit. Or, you know, to be fair, if people are special summoning a lot, Traptrix Trap Hole Nightmare isn't bad. But don't forget Holy Tear's graveyard effect as well. You can banish it from the graveyard and special summon a Traptrix monster from your graveyard to the field. And when Mamelio is special summoned, she can pop a spell or trap on the field. And it's mandatory as well. So that's quite handy. So sometimes, I even though I can't activate this turn, I might go for this because I've got another way to go Strenna, which I'll show you. So let's just add that because I think it's actually quite a good defensive and offensive option too. And it's also a plant, which means if you're in dire straits, you can tribute this to activate your Rikka stuff, which is crucial because some of the Traptrix stuff like Mamelio is an insect, so you can't quite do that. Anyway, so let's special summon Rikka Princess. So once per turn you can special summon her from your hand, but while it's face up in the monster zone, you can't special summon monsters except plant. That's okay, so we'll spec that. I think at this point what you should do is probably activate the Rikka Con, and then Rikka Con can set a spell from the deck. So because what I'm planning to do here is essentially go Strenna, what I would do is go for Glamour, not Sheet, because we want to tribute this off, because yeah, I'll show you. So you set Glamour to the field, and because it's a normal spell you just activate it this turn. When you activate this card you can also tribute 1 plant monster, so we're going to tribute the Strenna. And then we can add 1 Rikka monster from the deck to the hand, and if we tributed 1 we get to add another one with the same level but a different name. So in this Rikka Sun Avalon deck you'd add Petal and you can add Sunvine, Genius Loci, but in this deck what we'll be doing is adding Rikka Princess and also Primula, because we tributed the Strenna. So on the new chain, Primula will activate because Strenna was tributed, so you can special summon her to the field as an extra body, and also it's another Rikka presence, which is important for something else. And then Strenna will activate and come back to the field, and you can special summon, I think it's a plant type, with level higher, rank 5 or higher plant monster, XYZ monster, and attach it as material. So you basically do this. And so you've got you've kind of, this is the main way that Strenna works. So that's come out, and he's still got another princess in hand. So, and don't forget, we've also got the Holy Tear, we've got the other 2 Mamelios that we drew, so this is our hand and field, ignore this stuff. So you've got, at this point, I guess interruptions wise, let's just set that. And remember, you can only activate the effect, so it's got 2 effects, the Spec as a monster effect, and it's also got the Graveyard Banish effect. You can only activate one once per turn. So if you spec it to the field and it gets destroyed, you can't then banish it, because that would just be too much. You've got the negate in hand, or you can use the negate in graveyard. So what I would do is probably use this in the graveyard, because you shuffle it back into the deck, and tribute a face-up monster. So because we've got Chronicle on the field, if we want to activate this, we can tribute their monster instead of one of ours, which is great to negate and destroy. Don't forget, we've also got a quick effect tribute as well, and we've got, I guess, a wall to just protect our life points. I guess the benefit of just having another Primula on the field is just if they manage to destroy one thing, we've still got a Rikka name on board, so we can activate the Rikka Princess, because I believe you need to control a Rikka monster for this to be live. So this is not bad. And then I think what I would do is in the end phase or during their turn, I would just activate this and special summon it, because that way it's on the field, and next turn if you overlay it and it goes to the graveyard, you can then banish it and get the Mamelio out if you need. And remember, if it's in the graveyard on the opponent's turn, you can also use it as a quick effect as well, because it is a trap. So this isn't bad, it's not bad, but I think we can still do better. So I hope you're slowly sort of getting to grips with kind of what the basis of the deck is about. Let's see what else we've got. So, okay, interesting. So we've got another hand. Slightly awkward because we've drawn our one Primula that is searchable. So that is a bit annoying, but we'll live. And then we've got a Holy Tear, we've got a Mamelio, 2 Mamelios, and we've also got Called by the Grave as well. So let's just pretend we've got Called by the Grave. So what we would do again is the normal summon Mamelio, and I hope it doesn't get ashed. And then we would add a whole normal trap from your deck to your hand. So actually, you know, I think having these is actually not bad. So I would probably just add another one, because having them in graveyard is actually quite a good resource too. Or you could potentially even want to thin your deck if you just want to discard and evenly match from your deck so you don't draw it later. Not a bad idea, but personally I'd probably just do Holy Tear so you have something in the graveyard. So I'd add that. And again, what we're doing is setting, discard, special summon. I've got a Called by, so I'd obviously set that. So I think again, the best call would probably still go Time Thief, because we don't have anything to tribute off really. So that's as far as I would go with that. Okay, so another test hand. Okay, so this is promising because we've drawn probably our best starter. So we've got the Petal, so we always want to see Petal. That is definitely hands down the best starter. Drawn Petal and Mudan. This is a really good combination, I think. And then we've also, you're just going to have to imagine this, but I've also drawn 2 Ash Blossom and a Maxx C, but that's not really going to affect what I do. So you have these 2 cards in hand, so of course you normal summon the Rikka Petal, and then add a Rikka card to the hand. So let's go. Let's go Rikka Glamour. I mean, we can always replay the scenario and see what to do, but the idea is I'm going to activate it and tribute the Petal, and then we need to add Rikka Princess, and because we tributed the Petal, we get to add the Primula to hand. Now this is cool because Primula will activate on the next chain because we tributed a monster, so she'll spec to the field, and then you activate Princess, quick effect, spec to the field. Now you can only special summon plant monsters. Overlay into the Strenna. Don't forget Strenna's effect. You can detach a monster card from her, and then you can add one Rikka card from your graveyard to your hand. So I would definitely leave the Princess in there because she is your Omni Negate for monsters that can activate from the graveyard or hand, so just leave her there. You do not need her in your hand. Leave the Petal there because remember in your opponent's end phase, if all monsters you control a plant type, you get to reborn her from the graveyard, and then it sets up your next turn because you can just add anything you need. So I would add back the Rikka Glamour because it's also an add any Rikka card from deck to hand, so you want that, so recycle that. Now, because you've got Mudan in your hand, activate its effect to special summon Mudan by tributing the Strenna from the field. At this point you've got two chain links, two triggers activating at the same time, so it just depends what your opponent's used, if they've because this one's an add from deck and this one's let's have a look. Yeah, I'll probably just go with this one so you can chain block yourself from Ash if they haven't used it already. So I'll go chain link 1 Mudan and then chain link 2 Strenna. So Strenna will come back to make the Rikka Queen. So you don't have to make the Rikka Queen, remember, it's just any rank 5 or higher XYZ. So you can even make this one, the Sacred Tree Beast Hypertron. So this one is a monster effect, Omni Negate and Destroy, because it will have a monster underneath it so you can detach, which is very cool. And then on your turn, if you activate any sort of spell, trap, I think you can attach one type of that sort of card, like monster, trap or spell, from your graveyard, and then you'll have a spell negate for next turn. So that's something that I keep forgetting to do. So you can make that if you want to have an Omni Negate or Destroy, or you could have a Rikka Queen on the field. Usually I go for that if I don't know what I'm playing against. And then this one will add the Con, of course. So at this point, just for hand count, you've got these two cards, and we've also got the Maxx C, and we've still got 2 Ash, so we've got 5 cards in hand. So this is literally 1 card combo. So activate the Con, and then you can, because we've done Glamour already, so of course we'll set the sheet. So we'll set the sheet to the field. Don't know why I did that. So I think that's probably pretty much it. So you've got the Omni Negate and Destroy for monster effects in the form of Rikka Princess. We've got Recursion for next turn in the form of Petal in the graveyard. We've got an add anything in our hand in case. We've got the Rikka Queen to disrupt, and we can also use the Con plus Princess to tribute theirs, or we can use the sheet and Con to tribute theirs as well, and also take control and negate if we did tribute something. So we have plenty of options here. I guess like the thing that this deck doesn't like is if you go first and you just get even lead or you get harpied, but there's nothing really much that you can do about that. So if you get harpy dusted and these two disappear, I guess you do have the tribute and you still have the Rikka Princess left. So this is sometimes why it's good to just keep a random Rikka on the field, because the Rikka Princess can, you have to tribute a plant monster, so you obviously don't want to tribute this if it hasn't gone off yet, so you just tribute the extra thing that's on the field. So yeah, that was a bit more full combo. Should we do one more? Okay, this is an interesting one. Okay, yeah, I'm not going to show you this one because I drew Floodgate Trap Hole evenly, Gravedigger's Trap Hole, Called by and Mudan, so no, let's not look at that. Yeah, and this other hand, as long as you see Petal in your opening hand, you're pretty good. So I think that's it for now. Yeah, I'm currently 15-5 in terms of like win-loss rate, so 75% win rate with this deck so far in Duelist Chronicle, and I've already made it to the point where I've got the halfway Rikka Princess, I think. Is it Rikka Princess or is it Rikka Petal? I can't remember whose icon it is, but I've got the Rikka icon already. I think it's Princess. So yeah, I did start playing Monarchs, and then I was like, I didn't really want to craft the Monarch URs field spell. I wanted to craft something that I could still play as a deck, conceivably, in conceivably, viably, I guess, in the main Master Duel format. So yeah, I really recommend this deck. Actually, it's very fun, and I think it's a good one for the event. So thank you for watching again. I hope you enjoyed something a little bit different to my usual content about Vanquished Soul. Let me know what you thought about this little foray into like theme Chronicle and Master Duel content. Do you like this kind of mixed content where I show you the cards and also show you a bit of stuff on Master Duel? But yeah, if you're a hardcore VS fan, fear not, because I'm still going to locals and I'm still very much, you know, getting to grips with VS. So I'll definitely be showing more of what I'm doing with that. So thanks again, and hopefully see you soon.